You'll be impressed with it all. I tell you, everything has been fun. My license was up for renewal, my driver's license. So I walked in the place and the lady said, you got to take the sign test to get the license. That was last month. I said, well, I haven't studied no signs. You don't need to study. They have some signs on that number. Let's see. You never pay any attention to it. You know, I got through it, but as you answer the question, if you answer one of them wrong, it will tell you, if your number 3 is wrong, this was the correct answer, and then you go on. But it was all right. I think I missed 2 of them. And then right at the end, they said, you passed the course. Mutual funds and what else? All state is in everything. I can't equate them to mutual funds. MetLife, but not all state. I need you to get implications. This guy's and when he's doing implication, remember we have all the gyms. Let's call the City Council meeting to order. Monday, December 18, 2006, right at 7:05 p.m. This evening we have the invocation by Councilman Norman Hodge. And the Pledge of Allegiance, the Police Explorers. Would you all please stand? Who's that councilman?
Attention. Every cut. Forward, march. Left row, march. Up.
Councilman Bell.
Present arms.
Would you please join with me as we pledge our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Let's bow our head for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we'd like to thank you for this opportunity that we may be able to convene. And Father, that we're able to fellowship with one another. We just want to give all thanks. We thank you for this great country we live in. We thank you and we ask you for the prayers of many that we've gotten and the ones that go up for those that are fighting for the freedom that we're now enjoying and making decisions here today for this freedom. Father, we ask that you continue to bless this city and let it grow to be the wonderful, great city that you ordained it to be. Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. You may be seated. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Warren.
Here.
Vice Mayor Losner.
Here.
Councilwoman Bell. Here. Councilwoman Garner. Here. Councilman Hodge.
Here.
Councilman Porter.
Here.
Councilwoman Wadley. Here.
Additions, deletions, or deferrals, Mr. Manager?
Yes. Yes, an addendum to your agenda. Item number A, it's a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract to purchase 90 Southwest 1st Street from William C. Jacobson, providing for an effective date.
You want a motion on it now?
Is there a motion?
I'll offer motion.
Offered by Mr. Porter, second by Mr. Hodge. Any questions on this motion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Special presentation, parade volunteer recognition to Gary Schaefer, Public Works Department, Councilwoman Garner. Boy, we got one. That's a miracle in itself.
Thank you, Mayor. It's nice to have people you can depend on. Gary, why don't you come on up here? I've known Gary Schaefer since I was 8 years old, and he's been one of the most dependable, down-to-earth guys I've ever known. And I want to thank Robert Landon for beating me to the punch and recognizing Gary on this, because I was just talking to Patty that we should do something for Gary, because for the past 3 years we've had the Mayor's Youth Council, and once we decided that we wanted to participate in the parades, we needed help from the city, so Public Works got us a truck, they got us the hay, and we needed, of course, a person to drive us. And Gary's a city employee. He doesn't get paid for this. He puts in his Saturdays to come here at 10 o'clock and let us decorate the truck and drive us around, and he puts up with us, and he's very good about it. So we just wanted to give him something to let him know that we care, and it's people like him that really make Homestead a nice place to live. So Gary, you have a certificate. One by one, you make a difference. The certificate is awarded to Gary Schaefer, Public Works Department, in recognition of your dedication to the community and your volunteer efforts during local parades.
Thank you.
Can you get a picture? Can you get a picture? Yep.
Mayor, I'd just like to add that at the same time he was carting around the Mayor's Youth Council, they also carted me around with him for the last 3 years, and I do appreciate it as well.
He also carts me up and down to gets me in and out of vehicles.
Thank you, Gary.
That's scary.
Is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
I'll move it, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell. Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Porter. Any question on the consent agenda? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Public hearings, ordinances, land use items, etc.
Yes. Moving on to number 7, just the quasi-judicial section of your agenda. Please be advised the following items in the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to be either cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record, and persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk in accordance with Code Section 2-591. Any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda.
I'll move this one.
Second.
At this time, the clerk will swear any persons who wish to testify on any of the quasi-judicial items.
Please stand and raise your right hand. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Item 7A is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Baywinds Spine Roads within the Baywinds Plan Unit Development located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Offer motion.
Offered by Mr. Hodge, second by Ms. Warman. Any comments from the council on this item?
Question, Mayor.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
I'll direct this to the attorneys. My question would be the same for the first 7 or 8 items, all of these preliminary plat and site plan approvals. With the understanding that the original Baywinds overall development approval was granted well over 2 years ago, what discretion, if any, do we have for not approving each of these items, other than perhaps technical issues with locations of roadways and so forth? But as for, I guess my question is as to the sheer numbers.
As to the sheer numbers, as you mentioned, they came in for master plan approval, and most recently, I think just like 2 meetings ago, for an amendment to the master plan. And what that amendment to the master plan did was reduce the overall density, change some of the product types in the pods, which you all approved. And at that point, that's the point at which you vested this applicant for that density and those numbers for each one of those individual pods. You do have some discretion in regards to the site layout and design within those pods, but as far as the density, that's already been approved by you all.
And really, not necessarily discretion over single-family detached versus townhomes or condominiums. That's solely in the discretion of what can fit in each individual
Correct. And
T-plat that's approved.
Right. That density and the unit type you all approved for those pods. If they wanted to come back through for any amendments, it would have to come back through for a master plan amendment like they did most recently before you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item B is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod A, Baywinds of Abaco, 91 single-family units on approximately 27.75 acres of land in the Baywinds Plan Unit Development, located north of 320th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell, second by Councilman Hodge. Any comments from council? Any initial comments? If not, I'll open a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item C is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod B, Baywinds of Barbados, 107 single-family units on approximately 25 acres of land in the Baywinds Plan Unit Development, located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
I'll move this, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hodge. Any comments from council? Ms. Bell?
I just wanted to compliment the developer as we approved a 50-unit reduction the last 2 meetings ago, I believe, and taking a look at this. I mean, this is very low. The other one was 3.27, and this is 4.28 units per the acre. So I mean, this is good stuff. So I just want to compliment you. And I know we're still doing some density averaging here, but overall we have a great reduction in units. And I want the citizens to know that and understand that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Any further comments from council? If not, Mr. Hodge?
I just wanted to comment, as I guess it's kind of a little late, but back on the Spine Road, I know initially it was, we were looking at leaving that open as a public east-west connection. Is that still the case? Isn't that where we ended up at? Or the gates were?
Yes, it is.
It is? Okay. So just wanted to make a second. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience?
Ed Powell, 2274 Southeast 27th Drive in Homestead. I wanted to get up. I have the pleasure of looking at this before the Council on Planning and Zoning, and I just wanted to say to the developer that I think they've really been very accommodating, working with staff, working with us in terms of street issues, intersections, and if you look at some of the details, you'll notice that they're giving 12, like in some cases, 12-foot wide garages, and they really aren't grandfathered to do that. So there are cases where they are going beyond and above what they would minimally have to do in terms of trying to give us some of the amenities that we put into some of the new zoning. So I just want to add my 2 cents that I think they've done a real nice job, plus the reduction in density, switching some of the townhouse product to single families. And if you look at most of these pods, the preponderance of them are single family homes, and that's a good thing. Thank you.
Ed, Mayor.
Ms. Bell?
I guess, Ed, we could also compliment planning and zoning as well. We're holding different developers' feet to the fire. Thank you.
Any other public comments? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on, item 7D is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod D, Bay Winds of Dominica, 115 single-family units on approximately 15.6 acres of land in the Bay Winds Plan Unit Development, located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hodge, second by Mr. Porter. Any initial comments from council? If not, I'll open the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? No public comments. I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item E is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod E, Bay Winds of Eleuthera, 141 townhouse units on approximately 16.38 acres of land in the Bay Winds Plan Unit Development, located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
I'll move it.
Second by Mr. Porter, second by Mr. Hodge. Any comments from council? Any comments? If not, I'll open the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item F is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod G, Bay Winds of Galapagos, 141 townhouse units on approximately 18.22 acres of land in the Bay Winds PUD, located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Hodge,
Second, Mayor.
second by Mr. Porter. Question?
I just want to make a comment. You know, just it sounds like there's a whole lot of units being added on here, but this goes back to '04. I know it's been said before, but it's a repeat. We hear these numbers over and over again. This is probably the fourth time that we've talked about this, to my knowledge, and the numbers keep going over and over again. So it appears that there's just a tremendous amount of houses being built when it is necessarily what we're hearing is this the third or fourth time in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Attorney.
You are correct.
Okay, thank you.
More than that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Let me open the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lozner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item G is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod I, Bay Winds of Ibiza, 116 townhouse units on approximately 11.12 acres of land in the Bay Winds Plan Unit Development, located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Hodge, second by Councilwoman Bell. Any comments from council? Any comments? If not, I'll open the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lozner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item H is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod F, Bay Winds of Flores, 108 single-family units on approximately 15.72 acres of land in the Bay Winds Plan Unit Development, located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
Moved by Councilwoman Waldman, second by Councilman Hodge. Any questions? I'll open the public hearing. Any comments from the public? Any comments from the audience? Any comments? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Lozner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to item 7I, it's a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting site plan approval for Homestead Car Wash located at US 1 South Homestead Boulevard and Northeast 6th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
I'll move it. Second.
Moved by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilman Hodge. Any question on this request?
Question there.
Ms. Bell?
This is in the CRA, isn't it? It's in the CRA area? So that, or is it just outside?
It's not outside.
Yeah, right across the street. The car wash. Right across the street. I'm sorry, it's outside the CRA. It's on the east side of US 1.
Okay. Okay, thank you. It's right outside.
Right across the street. Yeah.
This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience on this issue? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lozner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 7J is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use to allow the operation of a restaurant with on-premises sale and consumption of beer and wine located at 436 North Chrome Avenue on the southwest corner of Northwest 5th Street and North Chrome Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Is there a motion?
I'll move it, Mayor.
Moved by Councilwoman Garner, second by Councilman Porter. Question, Councilwoman Waldman.
Captain Rose, has there been any police incidents at this restaurant in prior history?
Councilman Waldman, for a period of 2 years, there was 9 police calls at that location, 5 incidents over a 2-year period.
Is that
That's very, very few.
very few? Okay.
And I don't believe it was related to the existing business over that 2-year
I see.
period.
Thank you.
Any other comments from council?
Question.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
And I'll throw it out to whoever can answer it. Does this type of request give us the opportunity to nudge the applicant into bringing this site into current landscaping requirements? I mean, I went through there and it still just looks like it was for 40 years. That's just a gas station with an ocean of concrete out front, and one ficus tree and a few hedge plants just really don't seem to cut it. I don't view it as very attractive, so I just wondered if this would give us the opportunity to motivate some upgrades.
I'll make sure I talk to the applicant and
request that
Thank you.
from him. I just want to make one correction here. In the petition fax, it talks about that 1 a.m., the hours of being open, because they are in downtown district, they are allowed to sell till 3 a.m. I wanted to make sure to bring that up.
Part of that theater, RC theater.
There.
Ms. Bell?
Yeah, and I have no problem with the beer and wine as long as it's with food. I don't want any more standalone anything, bars or liquor stores. This is accompanying food. I don't have a problem with it. Thank you.
That's an important distinction.
Yes.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Any comments at all? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
No.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That concludes your quasi-judicial section of your agenda. Moving on to Section 8, Legislative Matters. Item 8A is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending Chapter 28 Utilities of the City Code by amending Article 8 Electricity, by amending Division 4 Electric Distribution System and Subdivision B Service, by amending Section 28-296 Construction generally, providing for underground construction of electric utilities for new and/or substantially improved buildings served by Homestead Energy Services, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date. This is second reading.
Move second reading, Mayor.
Move second reading by Councilman Porter, second by Councilman Hodge. Any initial comment from council? No comments from council. I'll open the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 8A2 is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code by amending Chapter 28 Utilities, by amending Article 5 Extension of Water and Sewer Systems, by amending Section 28-192 Refunds to provide for a permissible refund period of 10 years rather than 5 years concerning subsequent utility connectors refund payment to original applicant and constructor of extensions of water and sewer service, and to provide for community development district situations, and revising administrative fees and clarifying provisions as described herein, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Bales, second by the Vice Mayor.
Question, Mayor.
Ms. Garner?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Attorney, when I brought this up, this came up at the Committee of the Whole. I was asking about if we're giving a refund and the sewage is being financed by a CDD, what happens there? Because I wanted to make sure if there were any monies that were put into a CDD by the residents, or if they were paying something back to their CDD, and we were refunding, that it would go to the residents and not the developer.
Yeah, if you look on page 7 of the proposed ordinance, at the top of page 7, item number 15 right there addresses that exact situation and pertaining to a community development district. And what that basically stipulates is that those monies would be submitted back to the CDD. The CDD would then enter into a refund agreement with the city, and the city would work with the CDD to make sure that the property owners who are paying the assessments are the actual ones who wind up getting the refund.
Great. I hope the developers look into this and maybe help out some of our east side residents.
Great.
Thank you for taking
Thank
care
you,
of
Ms.
that.
Garner. Any other comments from council? If not, I'll open the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We're on the public comments. Any comments from the public at this time? Any comments from the public?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Bob Pratt. I reside at 1641 Northwest 15th Avenue here in Homestead. And as some of you know, I also represent Lennar in some of the projects. And I just wanted to say that the Bay Winds project has been extremely difficult for the staff as well as for the developer. And the amount of work that the Planning and Zoning Board, the DRC Board, and the staff of Sherry Kamali's office has undertaken has been enormous. And I just want to thank them for all the work that they have done. Waterstone and Oasis were easy compared to this. And I thank you.
And we thank you for what you're doing.
Good evening, Angel Road, 2214 Northeast 41st Ave. Just a couple observations with the new communities. I see that sometimes they're being built and people are moving in. Sometimes the mailboxes are not in place, and all those people got to go to the post office. It's inconvenient for them. It's inconvenient for everybody else that goes to the post office. So I don't know. I guess it's not part of the CO that their mailboxes or whatever are in place, but that's one observation. The other one, too, is a lot of the street lighting, the communities are getting done. People are moving in. The street lighting's not in place. I mean, all those kind of things that, I mean, it'd be nice if you know, there was a procedure where before the first CO, the street lighting had to be in, the mailboxes had to be in. I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm okay where I am, but I see it all over that it's pretty bad. That's all.
Thank you. Could someone check, because I agree with him, could someone check with them? I know the mailbox issue, you may want to talk to the postmaster, because there's some development where people have moved in, but the mail, they don't get any service at all, and some location at least 6 months. And you have to go to the main post office to get their mail.
Mr. Mayor, council members, we will look into the mailbox issue, but regarding the street lights, it's been coordinated between the electric department and developers in the beginning, I agree with Angel, we had lots of difficulties, and believe it or not, it's not the city. Even though the electric department was blamed for it, but there were lots of coordination issues. But now we're tying it to the C of O. They will not get C of O's unless the street lights are operational.
Good. Very good. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Mr. Hart?
Just a comment on the postal issue. I was speaking with one of the postal service gentleman that's been with him for like 30-something years. He's looking to retire next year. And he was telling me that a lot of times what happens when the new developments come along is that the U.S. Post Office have to create that address in the routing system. And a lot of times between the time that the house is actually physically there and CO'd and the information gets to them to create the address, and then the process that they have to go through to create the address and put it in the routing system, it's a long time delay, and that's why they have to go to the main post office and pick the mail until the post office create that address and put it into the routing system. So, I don't know if that solves the problem, but it gives you a little insight on it.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Business from the city manager. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. One, we will not have another council meeting before the holidays.
That is correct.
So I'm going to make an announcement. That's what they said. Make an announcement regarding solid waste pickup. That we do. There will be no pickup on Christmas, but every other day will be as normal. Christmas is the only day there'll be no garbage, solid waste pickup. So I want to make that announcement. And also from the city manager's office and staff, wish everyone out there and here a very safe and happy holiday period. And I will be happy to see everybody back after the first of the year as we continue another busy year.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Councilwoman Bill?
Thank you. This past Saturday, I attended Breakfast with Santa, and it was packed. I mean, packed. Parks and Recreation did a fabulous job. Kirk, just for compliments to staff. They're going to absolutely have to do this in 2 days next year or something, because it was absolutely packed. And I brought, courageously, 4 of my grandchildren.
That's why it was packed.
I'm growing them to vote, Mayor. And it was It was packed, but it was wonderful. It was just wonderful. And I mean, the lines, which is it's a very, very good statement. And one of the moms I was talking to in line was from Cutler Ridge, or Cutler Bay. She was from Cutler Ridge, and she came down here for Breakfast with Santa. So that's very telling that we've got something that nice in the city of Homestead that they're coming. And there were quite a few people. And last year I talked to a woman in line from Kendall. So that's very interesting. But anyway, just my compliments. And that's tough. It's just really tough. And how many children were there, Kirk? There had to be 500 or something. I mean, it was just packed. That's amazing. That's amazing. So just compliments to the staff, and we're going to have to split this up. If I'm coming back with my grandkids, we got to split this up. The employee holiday luncheon this past Friday was really, really great, and I think the employees of the city of Homestead just, got to hear and see how we appreciate them and everything that they do all year long. I also want to compliment and congratulate Dr. Porco for winning the Citizen of the Year for the Chamber of Commerce. And I attended that, and on behalf of the city and the mayor and the council, Councilman Porter and I presented a proclamation to Dr. Porco on this council's behalf. So I want to congratulate him again. I also attended a community leaders meeting with Nita Navarro, our Region 6 superintendent here, and we discussed future issues with schools in the South Dade area, and particularly Homestead, and some plans that we have for programs that we're going to be bringing to the schools. And it's very exciting. We're going to be working on bringing an international business program to Homestead Middle School as well as the senior high school. So it's pretty exciting when you see some of the programs that we're trying to implement within the schools here in Homestead, because we believe that this is the time. And so it was a very, very good meeting. We're going to be having another meeting right after, probably not long after Christmas, we'll be having another meeting. I also attended the Chamber Spotlight on Art South, and it was just a great, great night, and meeting the artists and seeing the art up there, and they just really did a fabulous job. My compliments to Bob Farnes as well as the Art South staff. Also, I have a great announcement to make. Last week, the budget was approved for the first EFBD school by the school board, so it was approved unanimously. And they right now are clearing the grounds right now to begin the building of our very first EFBD school, and they said it couldn't be done, so we're very excited about that. And you'll all be here when we have the groundbreaking ceremony. At this point, we're having weekly EFBD meetings, the Homestead Educational Facilities Benefit District meetings. We're having them every week, and we've had the last two here, and we had our budget meeting the week before last. So it's becoming a little bit of a time constraint, but it's worth it. It's very, very worthwhile. The chamber Christmas party was very nice. The volunteer appreciation dinner by the City of Homestead was wonderful, and we want to also thank all of our volunteers, not just the people who get paid, but the people who volunteer and give of themselves out of the kindness of their heart. We just really do appreciate them. And I just want to tell everybody Happy Hanukkah and a very, very Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Ms. Garner?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Bray, can you give me an update on the light at Campbell and Kingman? I've been talking about this for at least 18 months. We put the stop signs up as precaution. They told us August all summer long, and all I see now are 2 cement blocks on each side, and that's been there for at least a month. We have to get this up.
Yes, actually, I do have an update from the county on that. Basically, they are now waiting on the posts to arrive. They're in back order, and they've been delayed because of that. As soon as they get that in, the wiring is in, everything's ready to go. All they're waiting for is the masts to be able to put the lights up. They were hoping that they would get them before the end of the year, but it'll probably be mid-January. That's what they're waiting. That's really their hold up there.
Thank you. Mayor, I just want to wish everyone else, however you celebrate, have a safe and happy end of the year. Look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you, Ms. Garner. Councilman Hodge?
Thank you, Mayor. Real brief. My New Year's resolution is to make sure that the city manager office communicate with me a little bit better when we're scheduling workshops and meetings for the committees I'm in charge of. And other than that, see you guys next year.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to ask the attorney, recently we passed an ordinance, I guess, that was involved in some concurrency issues, and it provided for some expiration dates of concurrency. With the approvals we granted tonight on the Bay Winds project, would those have been impacted by that ordinance? The reason I ask is people are legitimately concerned. I mean, our roads are clogged, things are packed, and here we allowed someone to go another step further in the process to build some, I think, 830 some units, where maybe 2 years ago, if they'd have been constructed at that time, the impact wouldn't has been as egregious, if you will, as it was today. So I just wonder if there would have been a different outcome, or if this project, had it been approved later or more recently, if it would have been impacted by the expiration of concurrency.
I don't think that there would have been a different outcome. The project was approved under our old provision before we enacted this the new ordinance, and the city staff and the city had made the determination back when Bay Winds came through. We actually had to create the checkbook, if you will, and at that point we had pretty much calculated, or your staff had calculated, exactly where a lot of these projects were in regards to concurrency, in regards to vesting, and had made the determination early on that most of the projects that had site plan or T-plat approval had been vested for concurrency. To that effect, they still had to mitigate their impacts on the surrounding roadway facilities and roadway networks, and Bay Winds did do that. I know that there was some to that. I guess Ms. Kamali can speak to that more specifically, but they did do their mitigation prior to even.
And that's a very important point. That with all the issues that we all live with every day, that they are committed and are required to do certain mitigation as that project proceeds. So I appreciate that.
They just didn't take it. They just didn't come under the new ordinance that we developed, but they were still under the old ordinance, which always provided that you had to meet concurrency and adequate public facilities before you got approval.
But there was some enhancements to that as part of this approval. I appreciate that, and I think it's important for a lot of people to hear. I know there's been a lot of chatter about that in the community, and I grapple with that. On one hand, crowded schools, crowded roads, and yet here we all vote continuously for those. And you have to keep in perspective that it is a very long series of votes that could sometimes take 2 to 3 years from start to finish. Well, in addition to the breakfast with Santa, and I tell you, I was amazed, and I came around the corner of the parking lot about 10 minutes after the event started, and the place was packed, and what a wonderful event. I want also, and I'm sorry Yvonne's gone, compliment the Main Street organization on the fine program that they had at the downtown. They didn't want to call it a tree lighting because the tree was on a photo cell and had already come on its own, but the holiday celebration they had in Wassenaar Park a couple of weeks ago, just the talent that was there from among our community, the dance studios, the public and private elementary, middle school, and high school singing and band groups. It's just amazing the talent that's out there in the community that a lot of us don't ordinarily have the opportunity to see if you don't have kids in a particular school or a particular dance program. Over the past several weeks, many of us have talked about a spirit of giving in this community, of the need that's out there. As our community becomes more mature and more affluent, there's still just this great need. I know the mayor has hit on that theme several times, and it occurred to me, particularly over the weekend, how giving this community has been, particularly in this year. And I first want to commend, and I think maybe for the next council meeting next year, if we can have them in and recognize them, that the management of the Applebee's donated over 300 breakfasts as a fundraiser in conjunction with Keysgate Charter School to raise proceeds for the families of the 2 mothers that were tragically killed in the accident a couple of weeks ago. I think they raised well over $3,000, and that was without taking into account the numerous car washings they were doing the rest of the day at Applebee's, and just that the community came out. I mean, that's over 300 people that came, and Applebee's. The waitresses even donated their tips. Waitresses and the wait staff came in, the restaurant gave away the food, and the wait staff were also donating their tips to that cause. So this community does care. And this morning I attended the SOS Christmas with Santa project, was there early on as they were setting up, and the first few families came there. And wow, it's 50 to 60 families that are served. It's nearly 300 children who would not have otherwise had a gift this Christmas that were served. And I know that between the SOS and what was announced that was the result in our church, and I know that I have friends who have been having a kids' Christmas party in honor of the 10th anniversary of that party. We all brought gifts. And just by some rough calculations, just what I know about, nearly 1,000 kids in this community, just from those few events, are going to have something for Christmas of it, other than a memory of having nothing. And I think that says a lot about the spirit in this community. We can sit up here and we can verbally harangue and wrestle each other, but when it comes down to it, I think all of us are, the spirit of giving does exist, and coming together and doing what's right in this community. And in that regard, I just want to say thank you to everyone for the opportunity to serve you this year, and look forward to next year and many more years of good things happening and being involved from this side of the table and helping take the lead in making that happen. I just want to wish everyone a happy and healthy and a safe holiday, and we'll be back at it early next year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Councilman Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. Kind of on the heels of what the Vice Mayor said, in addition to all the events that you said, Armstrong Ford, in conjunction with the PD, they had an event Saturday right behind the Breakfast with Santa. And I couldn't tell you how many kids. The only thing that dampened it was the fact that the weather was pretty horrific. But it goes back to what you said. This community really does outpour, and I mean Armstrong, Ford, Sedano's. They'd really done a good job in conjunction with the police department to really reach out to the needy kids, and that's a good thing. But I also wanted to say to the mayor that I never thought in our wildest dreams that by 7:30 you would have gotten us through that agenda. I figured we'd be here much longer than that. So I will thank you for that, Mayor. But to the manager and to the staff, I just want to say that just from the events that were spoken about earlier, is a very, very professional attitude that's being brought forward. It's shown in the events that are being put forward by the city. It's shown in the participation from the community. Now they've become the signature events that the community look forward to every year, and we haven't had that in the past. And Mr. Manager, I think thank you for that, and your staff. You're doing a magnificent job with that, as was brought forward by both everyone that's spoken tonight. And it is a privilege to serve up here, and especially with the good work that you guys are doing. And I thank you for that. And to the residents and the business community, we really appreciate your support, and we want you guys to have a safe, very, very safe holiday season. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, but be careful. Be careful while you're out there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Councilwoman Wallman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Well, I missed a lot of the things that was going on, but I was on vacation for the last 8 days out of the country, and had a wonderful vacation. But right before we left, I don't often talk too much about the little angels on the dais, but we had our annual angel tree reception. And I want to thank Angels Ed and Clara and my husband over there. They're part of our board of directors. We not only had a successful reception, there were over 300 people there. Jimmy Accurcio and the Capri have adopted us, and they just put out some wonderful food and refreshments for everyone. But we raised that night over $13,000. And I know Clara, she handmade 70 or 80 ornaments, beautiful glass-blown ornaments with angels in them, and we had people just donating all kinds of things, and it was just beautiful. But not only did we raise $13,000 that night, we were able to give out over $25,000 to children with special needs and organizations and that touch thousands of children, and it was just remarkable. It was just remarkable, and it touched a lot of people's heart. I just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody. We were able to give SOS $1,500. We were able to donate to Campbell Drive schools $1,000 for their special children, playground equipment. I mean, it was just amazing. And that's just a part of what we do. The mayor says he had a little something to say, and he said we don't toot our horn enough. So I'm going to take this opportunity just to say thank you. Thank you to the community. Thank you to all the volunteers. And thank you for the families of these children. I mean, it just touches your heart. I mean, to know that they're there and they love them and they care for them. And thank you for all the organizations that also, Claire, don't you cry, all the organizations that take care of these kids. And they do, so much of it is a volunteer, and it's like I tell them, you know, I can raise money, I can give you money, I can do all these things, but I can't do the jobs that they do. It takes special angels to do those kind of jobs. So I'd just like to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'm going to wish all of you a very happy, happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wallen. The manager and I had a meeting, I think about 2 weeks ago, was it a week ago, with Judge Farina, who's the chief county judge. And the judge initiated the meeting. It was very interesting. But I attribute that to the effort of this community in November when we elected some judges. Yes. And they made a commitment that they were going to spread the word and get the word out about court presence in Homestead. Well, Judge Farina initiated a meeting with the manager and I. We met with him, and he was very supportive of the idea. His response was, you know, what are your needs? What do you think are some of the services that the people at Homestead will need? And we talked about traffic court and marriage license, domestic dispute, things that are not, I guess, where we need the prisoners to be present to testify in a jury pool. That would take time. But we did talk about some things, some basic services that he could bring to Homestead, and he said that he would have to go back and do due diligence and look at the calendar and look at the potential operation of a court in Homestead, but was very receptive to the idea. And I attribute that to those judges that we went out on November 7th and put in office. I just want to thank them and thank the voters of Homestead for getting out there and vote on November 7th. So that was very, very positive. It's always very nice to have elected officials so involved in the community in so many ways, and I'm always so impressed when I hear about their participation in multiple activities that go in our community each and every day. And if the community knows the time that they spend away from their families, making a contribution to Homestead, and that's very, 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 very special to me as the mayor, and certainly special to so many families that it touch their lives each and every day. And so I just want to thank the council for their contribution this year to the continuous growth and development of Homestead. I think we're moving in the right direction. And 2006 has been a very, very good year for Homestead in so many ways. We thank the employees on Friday and the staff, and I just wanted to take the opportunity this evening to thank the council. We've had our differences. We've had some tough decisions this past year, but I think as a whole, I think we do a very good job in representing the people of Homestead. So I want to thank you for your sacrifice and your courage and just taking the time out to care for other people. And that's so very, very important. And especially during this time of the year, as we come in contact with so many people that have very little. And just by extending your hands and offering them help and giving them a gift is so, so special. So I want to thank everyone for being a part of this community effort of caring for your neighbor and caring for so many of our citizens that need help out there. So again, thank to all of you for your continuous support and assistance. God bless you. Have a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year. And we'll see you on January the 2nd, the 3rd. I think our next meeting. January the 6th?
January 9th.
Our next council meeting? January the 9th. Thank you. God bless you. Have a good evening.